Hey y'all. Yeah, so I'm back again. Um, I got one more video to make after this. And y'all really ain't gonna like this next video. But it's the truth. It's God's time, it's truth. And that's all I can tell you. And people may not want to see it that way. But how you want to see something and how something actually is are two different islands drifting away from each other. And so, I got cat hair on me, sorry. Hold on. And so, things need to be addressed. For this video, we are going to say this. The title of this video is going to be Emotions Run a Gambit. We are not robots. Emotions run a gambit. We are not robots. Alright, what do I mean by that? Emotions run a gambit. We are biochemical electromagnetic beings. The same profile the Earth has is the same profile we have. Copper is found in her in abundance. Iron is found in her in abundance. Iron even more so. Our blood has a significant iron content. That's where the magnetism comes from. Iron isn't a magnetized metal. Are you sure? Are you sure? You may want to go look up your chemical elements and find out, their properties. Go rediscover that. Do a little research, just a little bit. The Earth is 70% land. Oh, 70% water. Excuse me. 70% water and 30% land. People are 70% water. All of our cells have to have water. All of them. And 30% material matter. Okay. Our emotional profiles are genetic. That's why the father becomes the son. The son becomes his father. And the daughter becomes their mother. In recent ages and eras, it's been a little different. Sometimes the daughter can take after the father, and sometimes the son can take after the mother. Either way, your emotional profile is genetic. Okay? You can say environment, this and that. Yeah. Yes. That's included. 110%. But there are children whose one parent or the other parent passed, or they weren't around, and they acted just like them and picked up, personality profiles or traits of that parent emotional profiles and traits of that parent who wasn't around them. How did they learn that if that parent wasn't there? It's genetic. So, I was on K Reno's live last night, Friday night. It's Saturday now. And there was one of his followers on there who said emotions are chemicals. And Karino said, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. I got to do some research into that. It's a logical statement. If, you never heard that before, you never, had that topic come up in front of you like that before. It's a reasonable response. And I started to think about it because, and I've thought about this before, but I've never just turned on the camera and was like, go, talk about it. Because most people don't, unfortunately, they don't care. This is what is kind of keeping me from writing my book that I want to write. I already got the foreword written down, well, typed out. I'm doing it on the notes. And I want to make the book, but I'm like, in my last video I talk about, emotional festering wounds or festering emotional wounds, that you can't just throw the band-aid of therapy and pills on and say, oh, it made it a-okay. And this has to go into my eviction once again. And so the lawyer who was working with me on my eviction case for the last almost 6 months, he got tired. And I, understand he's a 60-year-old white Jewish man. And he's tired. He felt like he did all he could, and he did. He did a lot more than other people did. I mean, he showed up to help me clean up my house a little bit. What more, can I ask him to do? And, the part of the house that he helped me clean up, I've done my best to try and keep that area cleaner than what it was before he got here. I don't want his work or what he did to go to waste, and possibly lose me, points, whatever. Anyway, so I was trying to tell him about my 30-pound box of documents, and he's like, well, what's in there from recently that you can tell me about? Is there anything recent in there? And I'm like, me being beat with the leg of a child's bed, with the nail is still in it and facing me. That's as recent. And I was 4 years old when that happened. It's like it happened to me yesterday. Could have been murdered. I could have died. I'm sorry, there's cat hair everywhere. I'm gonna have to shave, Empress. So anyway. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. So, you have memory profiles from events in your life. And the memory is tied to the chemical of the emotions, which is the emotional profile of the memory of the event that happened in your life, be that event good thing or be it an incident and a bad thing. And so because of that, I'm totally done with people out here who talk like emotions don't matter. And they do. They really do. A lot of people aren't Christian. But I am. And the Bible says that Jesus Christ Emmanuel is going to judge your head and your heart. He's going to judge what you did and why you did it. Because a lot of people think you reason in your head. You don't reason in your head. A lot of people who think they're intellectual and think they're logical and smart think they reason in their head, and that reasoning is the sound science of life. That's not the case. You reason in your heart. That's why the Bible also says Jesus Christ Emmanuel stands at the door of your heart and knocks on that door, seeking to come in and sit with you. And it says you sup with him and he sups with you. Supping means having supper, eating and talking, just chilling. In your heart, not in your head. So, I understand the need to control your emotions. That's why the Bible also says, bring every thought, unto submission in Jesus Christ Emmanuel. So, to have emotion and to feel your emotions and to acknowledge them and let them be expressed doesn't mean to be out of control. You can express anger in a controlled fashion. Feel your emotions. That doesn't make you feminine. That makes you alive. I also believe in the Bible. So I also believe when the Creator said that He made us in His image. That includes having emotional profiles. We are not robots. And even still then, they are trying to bring the brain and the brawn, the immaterial and the material together. What's the brain? AI is the brain. What's the brawn? What's the material? Robots. And they want to make them feel emotions like people do. So who are they to tell you your emotions don't matter? The ones making these bots and making this AI, the physical and the immaterial, the intellectual, bringing it together to try and make the new race of man. Well, they're lying and saying, oh, it's just for production. Oh, it's just for manufacturing. Oh, it's just to support you in your home and with your household duties. And we believe them. One of the reasons why they're having such a hard time making AI like us, in the image of us, is because of the psychological profile. Your emotions are part of your psychological profile. And we run the gambit of emotions. Sometimes we can have emotions that are so indescribable. We don't have any words for them. And that can go for joy or anger or sadness or awe or thankfulness. You can feel thankful. We have words like gratitude, joviality, mesmerized, irate, or irascible for anger, and sorrow for sadness. We have those words, yeah. And there's different varying levels of those feelings, and we have different words for different varying levels of those feelings. The art of knowing the language you speak has been lost on us, because we don't even know those words anymore. We've been taken so deep into the new speak, and one of the brothers, what's his name? Matericus Attractus, I think that was his name or something like that, on K Reno's video, kind of like pointed that out. Like, white people, and I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, because on the, in the grand scheme of things, on that grand chessboard, all things are in play. All the isms are in play. Anything to keep you from focusing on the focal point of the issue of where all those things are coming from. Okay? Well, white people will have you think you can't speak correct English. Meanwhile, they don't know how to use the Oxford comma or what it's for. They don't know what an ellipsis is used for or how to use it properly. They don't know what a semicolon is, and they couldn't point it out in the, broad daylight to save their lives. They don't know how to write APA style for papers, or publications. They don't even use grammar correctly for your, and your. What's the third your? Most people don't even know that. There's no such thing as a third your. There's only YOU apostrophe RE and YOUR. Eeyore isn't a thing then. Eeyore is a fictional character. Yeah, but his name meant something. What did it mean? Why don't you look it up? Here, I'll even give you the meaning of your. Y-O-R-E. That's not a word. Yes, it is. It is a word. It is, in fact, a word. And your usually is denoting a temporal state of time, usually someplace in the past. Like when they talk about the olden days of yore, stuff like that. Um, and then, there's the there, and there. Look, my ex, his fiance, my ex passed in November. He got a fiance. And on the post that I saw from her, now she's got 3 of his children, right? And, which, congrats. Whatever. I'm not. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to bring any babies here. It's horrible. And I don't want them to have to try and incorporate anything in my genetic profile from all the trauma that I experienced into their life. And have to process that as well as my own. We good here. Anyway, so I saw her post. And on her post, she kept using the wrong there. I will make sure those kids are taken care of, and they always have their appa and opa and to take care of them, and we'll always, their, lives will be set and all this other stuff. And you know how you spell there when you're talking in the plural about people, right? You're not, referencing, a place of, something, the placement, or where where a place is. Like, where do you want me to park? You can park your car over there, This there that she used wasn't to talk about people in plural. Let me just say that. She kept using it there to denote a place in that spelling. But at the same time, would probably be the same person trying to tell somebody who is learning English as their second language to learn how to speak correct English, or they don't know English yet, so they're more comfortable speaking in their tongue, or they just like speaking their own tongue as well, and they tell those people to speak English. It's a lot of those, right? So, unfortunately, we find ourselves in idiocracy, and, oh boy, child, please. Anyway, so most people don't have the command of the English tongue, or the tongue they speak, which is English here, to know these things, right? And so it's like, how do you expect people who don't even know that to understand the difference of the levels of feelings and emotions, and like that this word is a level above this word? Like, okay, you're angry, or let's not go even angry. You're mad, right? You go from mad to angry. You go from angry to irate. You go from irate to irascible. You go from irascible to uh, inconsolable. And the reason I put that in, anger, because, well, like I say, emotions run the gamut. But eventually one comes out. And let's say you're more angry than you're sad. People say you're inconsolable. But also, if you're more sad than you're angry, people also say you're inconsolable. So there's that, right? People nowadays, kind of like, no matter their color, but definitely the people who supposedly mastered the language, because it's their language, don't have a handle on their language, right? So they don't even know their own emotions. They don't even know, they're not even in tune with their own emotional profile. And so, it makes me sad, because then, that goes into like the mental health thing, and the festering emotional wounds, and people get mad and they don't know what word. They're beyond mad, they're beyond angry, they're you know you know they're they're beyond that, but they don't have a word that they can come up with. They don't know the word, irate, or they can't think of it at that moment because they're so angry, their mind goes blank, you know, which happens, you know, and they can't think of anything. They're just angry. And then, there's a book called the Encyclopedia of Obscure Sorrows. If you get a chance, check it out, because I mean, it's got there's a guy, he made these words up to give words to the uh, sorrow that you feel, that you can't think of a word to, the way that you feel that you can't think of a word to. And it's probably a word in there. It's like $30 on Amazon, but I mean, if you get a chance, it's worth it. Maybe you could probably find a free PDF. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure there's a word in there that describes how you felt when you felt this extreme sadness, but it was more than that, and there's probably a word in there that, matches how you felt in that moment. So, stop ignoring your feelings. Stop pretending like, your feelings don't matter. Top G is stupid. Myron is stupid. Walter is stupid. All of them are dumb. They're dumb. Men, stop listening to them. Young men, don't listen to them. And yeah, I might be a 37-year-old black woman with emotional and mental dysregulated conditions that would probably make you judge me and say that my words don't mean anything. But it might be behooving to you to listen to what I have to say, because I'm a 37-year-old woman who's ran through the gambit of emotion and dealt with the gambit of emotion. We're not robots. Let's start treating ourselves like we're not robots. We're living. Let's start treating each other. And I know this is the end time. Like I said, I believe in the Bible. I know this is the end time. I know the end time says The love of many shall wax cold. And if that's God's will for you, then it is what it is. But if it's evil trying to take your salvation from you, let's see it as that. And let's try and fight against it. And since we're living, let's see each other as we are. That we're alive. And we're all in this time here right now together. And I know this is real hard. Because it's hard for me too right now. I'm going through a thing with this eviction and all this stuff. And that's another video though. But let's work hard at working through our pain and seeing each other's pain and not ignoring it or neglecting it or pretending like it doesn't exist or not caring because it's the easy thing to do. Let's acknowledge it. And let's acknowledge each other. We are people. We have emotions. Nobody's an alpha male. You don't have to believe me on that. We're people. We're not robots. No more ignoring your feelings. Or the feelings of others. Or trying to invalidate them. Because you don't have the same life experiences that they do. Like I said in another video, we're all alive. That doesn't make us all the same. I am not everybody. And everybody else isn't me. We're all unique. Uniquely experiencing this life and living here together. So let's operate with that as fact. And with that, I'll end.